At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
Welcome in to Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. We're also on SiriusXM Channel 375 and all of our great radio affiliates around the country. I'm Chris Bleck along with Adam Abdalla, broadcasting live from downtown Chicago. We're on the air until 3 Eastern today. Our call and text line, 310-840-4910 here on the show. If you want to reach the show, you can call or text us, 310-840-4910. We had finally the news officially that Travis Kelce is signed with the Kansas City Chiefs. He's back in. It's a 3-year deal for $54 million, but it sounds like when you look at the void years and how this is kind of going, that it's a 1-year deal for Kelce to return to the Kansas City Chiefs this upcoming season.
I love that we're reporting void years now. Like, that's going to become mainstream.
Well, it's one of those things where when you see that it's a 3-year deal for $54 million, and then you see the way that this offseason went, where it was, will he, won't he play? It's a year-to-year situation with Kelce. That's my guess. And so even though the contract is there are ways for the Kansas City Chiefs to get out of the deal after the first season. I believe it's 1 year, $12 million, and $3 million in incentives guaranteed for this upcoming season. So with that said, Kelce is back in the mix with the Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes will be coming off of a knee injury at the start of the season. The Chiefs last week made news because they made a move for Justin Fields to be the backup of the team. Mm-hmm. And in free agency, they made a big splash, getting Kenneth Walker to be their running back for this upcoming season. So Kansas City gets Kelce back in the mix. And honestly, Adam, when we look at this Chiefs team and we look at the rest of the AFC, it is tough to suggest that this is still a team that's a favorite to get to the Super Bowl in this upcoming season. It does feel like it once was a great automobile, a great car, and the wheels are kind of falling off, and they're trying to patchwork everything together to keep having this puppy run. And it just feels like Kansas City needs a refresh.
Yeah, I think this is the car that has one door that's a different color than the rest of the doors. You know, and
so
I think
you have the fresh paint of
you
have a fresh coat of paint on the door that's the Kenneth Walker slapped on to the side.
I think the whole car looks good except for the door that is Travis Kelce.
Oh no!
I think that he is the one door that is that didn't get the paint.
Busted and broken down?
Yeah, and I don't think that the betting market reflects what this team actually is. If you look at the Super Bowl favorites right now, the Rams are plus 750. Now, they trade for Trent McDuffie. They shore up the back end of their defense. It was their biggest weakness last season. Everybody knew you could go in and throw on the Rams, and that's exactly what teams did, and that's why Sam Darnold went in there and beat them, and that's why they got to the Super Bowl and eventually won the Super Bowl. And the Seahawks are second at plus 950. The Bills are 10-1, and the Ravens are also 10-1. So those teams are even right now to win the Super Bowl in the AFC. The Chiefs are next up at 14-1. I don't believe that. I just don't see it. The 49ers are after them are 15-1, along with the Packers at 15-1. The Chargers are right after that at 16-1. And then the Eagles, Lions, Texans, and Broncos. The Chiefs, to me, are nowhere near the 5th best odds. Or if you're looking at ties there, that would be like the 4th best odds to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like, I don't even think they're anywhere near getting to an AFC championship game. I don't even think they're going to win their division.
They finished 6-11 last season. And I know at the end of the year, Mahomes was injured. And then it's difficult when your starting quarterback's out to make up anything at the end of the season with what they had as backups. They weren't going to do anything, but still, that team was a sub-500 team for most of the season. It's not like that they were number one in the conference and then Mahomes got hurt midway through and then they plummeted. Mm-hmm. The offense was stagnant. And it's kind of gone in this direction now for a couple of seasons. And what it really feels like to me, and if you kind of go back to the Super Bowl 2 years ago, it felt like Philly put it on them so aggressively in that Super Bowl that they just kicked all the living blank out of what they had as a dynasty franchise in the Kansas City Chiefs. Like all of the pizzazz, the scare that opposing teams would face against Kansas City in that offense. It was like, nah, did you see what Philly did to them? They just ran right over them, right up the middle. And as long as you can affect Patrick Mahomes by hitting him up the middle, you can beat them. And Mahomes is great. This is not to suggest that Patrick Mahomes is not the best quarterback in football. But unfortunately, when you pay the best quarterback in football that amount of money, no matter the cap maneuvering and restructuring that you do, you need to find ways to win on the margins. And the defense needs to be better. And the offense, specifically the skill position players on offense, need to be better for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, and they didn't really add much on defense during the free agency period that, you know, we just kind of got through. They added Chris Tonga from the Patriots, and like that really wasn't a huge addition on their defensive line. They added another safety, which is just kind of, it's not a huge addition. They do have a top 10 draft pick, so you could add someone there. They obviously added Kenneth Walker because they didn't think that Jeremiah Love, the running back out of Notre Dame, would be there at 9. And that's someone that they were looking at maybe adding in the draft. So maybe they pick up another defensive piece to add to their aging defense there. So they've got some aging piece on the defensive line that maybe they could look at. But if you're looking at odds right now, if you go to DraftKings, if you're going to go to DraftKings, make sure you use promo code B&A. That's promo code B&A for Bleck and Abdalla. B&A. If you look at the odds,
why did you whisper that?
I didn't. I just used it in a promo style, commercial style voice. Promo code B&A. That's promo code B&A. I just noted the inflection tone. It was a shift to get the mind to notice. So someone, if they're listening, would be like, "Hey, what is that? Why did he change his inflection?"
For Bleck and Abdalla. Yeah. Yes, DraftKings. Shout out.
If I'm looking right now, AFC West winner, the Broncos at plus 225 are third to win the AFC West. The Chiefs are plus 165 as the favorite. The Chargers are plus 185 in second place, and the Raiders are 20-1. They're not winning anything. They've got the number 1 pick. They're breaking in a rookie quarterback. Obviously, that's not disrespecting the Raiders. That's just what they are. Like they're going to be one of the worst teams because they've got a lot of changes. Yeah, it's just reality.
The situation.
Yeah, it's just reality. The Broncos are the best team in the AFC West. They just added Jalen Waddle. Like they are a team that's going to compete for an AFC championship. How are they third to win the AFC West in these odds?
I think the Bleck and Abdalla show should probably put in some future bets.
All right.
I mean, okay, so let's slow our roll. Is this one of those, like, are we falling for a trap? Is there a trap with it? What's the trap? I mean, Bo Nix is going to be healthy. I'm guessing Bo Nix is going to be ready to play before Patrick Mahomes is this season. So I don't think there's a concern there that the Broncos will be without Nix. Their defense is championship level defense.
Their entire offensive line, which was the best in the NFL last year, is coming back.
They're all back.
The entire offensive line is coming back.
The Broncos made the trade last week for Jalen Waddle.
Yep.
Sean Payton is a hell of a coach.
Yep.
So you're not going to get this season of dysfunction where players are already planning their vacations postseason in October. You're not going to get that.
Yep.
I really don't understand this. How could the Broncos not be the favorite for the division? That doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever.
I don't know. I obviously...
I mean, the public clearly would still be chasing the Chiefs.
Yes.
The public probably still thinks Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes at this level. And, you know, we start the show today talking about Travis Kelce. He's back in for an additional year. I don't see that. That's wild to me, that the Denver Broncos are not the favorites in the AFC West right now to win their division.
And if you look at win totals here, the Broncos are at 9.5, the Kansas City Chiefs are at 10.5, and the Chargers are also at 10.5. So it's not by like a lot. You know, like they're all sitting around 10 wins.
Okay, but I would say if you're stacking the teams in the West today, I would put Broncos 1,
yes,
Chargers 2,
yes,
Chiefs 3,
absolutely,
Raiders 4.
Yes, because there is still uncertainty with Patrick Mahomes being ready for week 1. And if there is even a sliver of a doubt of his health, if I were the Chiefs, I wouldn't rush him back week 1. because we know how teams are handling the preseason now and how they're handling week 1 and week 2. Let Justin Fields start week 1. If Mahomes isn't 100%, if he's 100%, it's the NFL, you play. I'm not saying, wrap him in bubble wrap and don't let him play week 1. If he's healthy, play.
Wait, weren't you on this show a couple of weeks ago suggesting that the Chiefs punt on the season?
Yeah.
And that they pack it in
No.
don't rush Mahomes back?
That's not what
you telling me this
no,
a couple weeks ago?
That's not what I said. What I said was what I'm looking at is in a year where there's uncertainty whether or not Mahomes could be ready to start the season with his ACL injury. Like, let's say he's not ready for week 1 or week 2. Where the fact that you are giving Travis Kelce $15 million or whatever it is, the fact that you gave a running back, another $15 million guaranteed. Like, to me, this is a year where you also have a top 10 pick in every round, obviously, because when you pick top 9 in the first round, you're picking top 9 in every single round, where if the Chiefs end up finishing 3rd in the division, they might be okay with it just because you're reloading your roster. You're getting younger at every position. You're resetting all of your financials with, Travis Kelce getting your farewell tour, and then we're going to say goodbye to you with these void years on your contract. Like, I'm not saying that they're not trying to compete, but I don't think they're going to rush Patrick Mahomes back week 1 because they're saying we need to get the pedal to the metal and say we need to start week 1 and absolutely get a win. If he's not ready to go, they're not going to rush him back week 1.
I wonder if Justin Fields can hold the ship steady for the first month of the season. I don't know if Kansas City can afford that. And that's why that would play into the conversation that you're bringing up, is that do they feel that Patrick Mahomes has to be out there week 1 for the Chiefs to make the playoffs? Or can they say, Patrick's coming along, he's close, we're going to wait 2 to 3 weeks into the season, we'll get things started. We don't have the schedule yet.
Mm-hmm.
In May, it's usually like the second week of May that the NFL releases the schedule. If the Chiefs have an early bye, maybe that's an opportunity where you make sure that Patrick Mahomes is super duper ready to go for the start of the season, and you hold him until, like, say if they have the bye week, week 5, an early bye week. If it works out that way, is that something on the table? I would say on the flip, I don't know if Kansas City can afford to just let Justin Fields be the starter for 4 weeks to start the season without getting off to a right foot, because I think Kansas City needs to win early to feel good about the way this is going because of what we saw last year. They finished 6-11.
I understand that.
They weren't even close to making the playoffs.
I also feel like even before the 17th game was added, when it was Tom Brady and Bill Belichick on the Patriots, and even when the Chiefs were the dynasty of the Chiefs before they got their asses kicked by the Eagles in the Super Bowl 2 Super Bowls ago, right? There was always the narrative around Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. Are they losing it? I don't know. They lost a couple games to start the season. I don't know. They're 2-2. I don't know. They're 3-2. Same with the Chiefs. I don't know. Has Mahomes and Reed lost their magic? And then guess what? They're in the Super Bowl. Guess what? Brady and Belichick are in another Super Bowl. So, remember, this always happens with these guys. This always happens. Yeah, there's always a feeling out of the season.
But this is different because the teams in the division are going to run out. Denver is not going to be a sub-500 team.
I know.
So I understand what you're pointing to is that great teams with great coaches and great starting quarterbacks know how to feel their way through the start of a season. Now, let's be real. The preseason's a joke now.
Mm-hmm.
So to say that week 1, 2, and 3 is really when teams are getting in the groove and really getting in shape and getting back to tackling and all of that goes with the start of the season, the month of September really, even though you're playing the real season, it feels like preseason to some extent because you're getting guys out there getting their reps for the first time. So I get what you're saying, but with that said, last year, the Chiefs were a 500 team all the way up until week 13 of last season. So can they teeter-totter back and forth between one game up, sub 500 in that area throughout the season, or do they need to get off to a good start to make the playoffs? And what I'm pointing out is with Denver and the Chargers, the Los Angeles Chargers, you're going to have two teams who can make the playoffs. So they're probably going to get off to decent starts next season.
You are, but also you've got Bo Nix, who's coming off of a broken ankle. So what is he going to look like? Are they going to get off to a rocky start because hasn't played football, or how much training camp is he going to have? How many is he going to be able to play it all in the preseason, or are they going to hold him off until the start of the regular season because of the broken ankle? And then, Herbert's obviously healthy, but what are they going to do? Because they've added one or two things here to their offensive line, but what are they going to do as far as letting him play in the preseason? Or is he just going to start playing in the regular season, and do they get off to somewhat of a rocky start too? So you never know with how this starts for all these teams here and how the schedule shakes out. If all these games in the division are if they start out with games against themselves in the beginning of the season and then it's loaded in the back end with games against each other, like they could slow play this a little bit. And then if these games against the division are stacked towards the end, it could have a lot more meaning whether or not they get off to a rocky start.
You can call or text the show at 310-840-4910. It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. The Spurs beat the Heat last night, 136-111. Victor Wembanyama had another fantastic game, 26 points, 15 rebounds, 5 blocks. Is there anything that Wembanyama can do here at the end of the regular season to make a push for MVP? We'll talk about that next. DraftKings Sportsbook, the #1 sportsbook for live betting, is built for March. The tournament is unexpected. Rewards are guaranteed.
DraftKings Sportsbook is delivering the most generous rewards in the market. With DraftKings, the #1 sportsbook for live betting, you're not betting what might happen. You're betting on what's happening.
New to DraftKings, just bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code B&A. That's B&A for Bleck and Abdalla. Just turn $5 into $200 in bonus bets instantly. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-MY-RESET. New York, call 877-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. Must be 21 plus in most states. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bonus bets are non-cash credits that apply 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. Limited time offer ends April 5th, 2026.
Every team, every player, every story, every angle. This is Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will be in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
As we creep towards the end of the NBA regular season, I feel like each week there's a new performance that brings up the conversation of the MVP and asking the question whether or not insert name for the week can win the MVP. This week, because of last night, Victor Wembanyama is on the front of mind. And Wemby last night had 26, 15, and 5 blocks against the Miami Heat. It was a nationally televised game on NBC and Peacock. The Spurs beat the Heat 136-111. The Spurs are the second best team in the West, and Wemby has been fantastic this season. When we ask the question, can this guy win the MVP? There are only a few guys, I think, right now, when it boils down to the conversation, that are included. Last week, I talked about it here on the show. I think it was on Friday, that Luka has a chance with the Lakers to be in that conversation because he essentially, for the month of March, has been incredible. He's had a couple of 50-point games. He had a 60-point game. He's had like 4 different games in the 40s. Luka has been playing great basketball for the Los Angeles Lakers, and the Lakers have been playing great basketball. Mm-hmm. So Doncic is in the conversation. Wembanyama has been in the conversation this entire year, and they're all chasing Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, which I think is going to win the award. So I think what's going to happen here is because the Thunder are the number 1 team in the West, and because Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is still having a great season, even though he missed some time with injury, I think it's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's award to win here this season for the MVP.
I agree with you, and I think that now you're starting to see, obviously, that's why we're talking about this, the politicking, because that's what Victor Wembanyama said yesterday after the win, is that now that he believes that he should be in consideration for MVP this year. And I think that you make a good point with Luka. If you look at the last 10 games, Luka has averaged, over 30 points a game he scored over 30 points a game in his last 10 games. And he's had great games over that stretch. And I think that Luka has more of a case than Wembanyama. There's certainly a conversation to be made, but I don't think you can make a run the last month of the season and say, now it should be mine. This is a full season award.
Yes, yes.
And I think that Luka's played great the last 10 games, but I don't think you can just show up in the second half of the season when everybody starts watching and everybody starts, showing up for the NBA and say, well, now I deserve the MVP.
Well, I agree with you. And that was the point that I was making with Luka on Friday on the show, is that he's doing something that's incredible. And if he continues to do that, and most teams have about 10 games left in the season, if he's able to pull off a run like that for the rest of the regular season, he's got a chance. But with that said, you kind of have to be around for the entire season, which I do think plays into Wembanyama's point, because it is both ends of the court. Listen to the stat for Wembanyama. This season, he's averaging 24 points, 11 rebounds, 3 assists, and 3 blocked shots per game. There are only 6 players to finish a season with those numbers. Those players, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, he did that 5 times, by the way. Hakeem Olajuwon did it twice. Shaquille O'Neal did it. Patrick Ewing accomplished it. And David Robinson. So Shaq, Ewing, and Robinson each did that once. The 6th player on the list, it would have been Wembanyama last season, but he only played in 46 games. So he will be the 6th person to accomplish 24, 11, 3 assists, and 3 blocks. So he is in company of Hall of Famers already as a young player, only a couple seasons into the NBA. So I do understand his point, though, because defense is half of the conversation. Watching the game last night, Tarico was joined by Jordan Cornette, who was on our show last week. And, Jordan made a great point during the game that it's not just the blocks that are the defensive issue for teams to deal with. It's Wembanyama lurking in the background on every drive, every shot in the paint. He's around, and that affects the way offensive players play, knowing that he can rise up and block your shot. And so I think it does factor in. And I think it is a pretty interesting and fun conversation to have right now, because I do feel like the last couple of years, people have gotten bogged down with the boring, monotonous Nikola Jokic is the MVP conversations. Honestly, this is a good debate, whether or not Wembanyama or SGA or Luka should be the MVP this season.
Well, and what do you make of his other comment that, well, we beat them in the regular season record? Look at the record. The record is the record. The record is the record.
The Spurs have a better record head-to-head.
Yes.
The Thunder have the best record in basketball.
Well, the Thunder have the best record in basketball, but when the Thunder have faced the Spurs, what has happened?
Yeah, the Spurs have won.
Yes.
Yeah, and they've won big time.
Yes.
So I understand that. Head-to-head does matter. I agree. But the Thunder are also the best team in basketball.
I get it.
When we're talking MVPs, how much do you factor in that the best team in basketball has the MVP on it? It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app.
The argument to me...
the Thunder have 57 wins right now. They're 57-15. The Spurs are 54-18. So they're close. They're close.
This comes down to me to always, and I guess it's the easy argument, but what does MVP mean to the voters? Do the voters take in just the best player in the NBA? Who's the best player in the NBA right now? Is it SGA? Then that's who gets it. Or is it truly the most valuable player to their team? If you take Victor Wembanyama off the Spurs, what are they? If you take SGA off the Thunder, what are they? Like we talked about Cade Cunningham a few weeks ago being an MVP.
Yes.
What have the Pistons done since Cade Cunningham has left?
I mean, they're 7-3 in their last 10, so they haven't fallen off. They've won 4 in a row.
They haven't lost a game since he was diagnosed with a collapsed lung and has missed a few games. And I don't know if that's going to continue. Obviously, there's like 11 games left in the regular season that he's probably going to miss all of those games and come back at some point during the playoffs. So I think you have to take both into account. Who is the best player in the NBA right now? That should be an account. But also, what would that mean to the team if you removed that player from that roster? Like if you removed, like we talked about this ad nauseum during the NFL season with Matthew Stafford and Drake May and who should be the MVP, who was playing better, who was putting up better numbers, who meant more to their team. So what would it matter to the Spurs if you took Victor Wembanyama off? Like obviously he's better defensively than SGA. He's not putting up better offensive numbers than SGA does, but like the Thunder are loaded. The Thunder are absolutely loaded. I'm not saying the Spurs aren't. Like they're 1-2 right now. But who is more valuable to their team right now? The true definition of most valuable player. It's not best player in the NBA. That's not the award. The award is not best player in the NBA. The award is most valuable player.
That is how some view it, though.
I understand that.
You know,
but also some voters view it as the best story in the NBA. That's also how some voters view it too.
And I don't have necessarily a problem with that. But when you look at it, I think you do have to factor in the success of the team into being a part of the award. Because I think for the argument of like, where could this team be if you remove said star? There's a lot of teams, if you remove the star from the team, they go from 7th to 15th in the standings. So I do think having team success means something. I also think that the story of the season plays into it a little, but I would prefer rewarding the best player in the league over just a good story. And I think that's what the NBA did and voters did back when Steve Nash won back-to-back MVPs. The story was better that the 7 seconds or less Phoenix Suns with Steve Nash, this little point guard that's running around throwing all these assists, that he's the MVP. That was a better story than just pointing out that Kobe Bryant was the best player in the league.
Yeah.
So I do think, and so, I mean, that's one that comes to mind quickly. The other conversation would be with Derrick Rose winning his MVP when clearly LeBron James was the best player in the league at the time.
Careful.
But the better story was Derrick Rose.
Yes, it
was.
was.
What am I being careful about?
I have to walk you to your car.
It's fine. People know. People in the state of Chicago know. It was a better story. So Derrick won the MVP. But let's be real. He wasn't the best player in the league at the time, but that story and that Bulls team had a great season.
Yeah, they did.
And Derrick showed up and hit a lot of game-winning shots, and he played well in big national TV settings. And in the story of Derrick Rose and that Bulls team with Tom Thibodeau, that was a great story, worthy of the MVP. But LeBron James was in his prime.
Yes.
With the Miami Heat, when that probably was the best we've seen from LeBron. Speaking of LeBron, did you see this note? And you can text the show at 310-840-4910. Who do you think should win the MVP this year in the NBA? Did you see this note from Ramona Shelburne, who says that teams are not expecting to offer LeBron $50 million in free agency per year? So that's from Ramona. She covers Los Angeles sports and is very plugged in with the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm guessing LeBron's going to want top dollar when he gets to his next location. There's a lot of people out there suggesting, I think Sam Amick from Yahoo also suggesting that is not likely to be the Lakers in the future. And the two destinations that were put out there by Amick were the Golden State Warriors and the Cleveland Cavaliers for LeBron's services moving forward.
He can't go to Golden State. He can't. He can't go to Golden State. Like, the story can't end in Golden State.
Why can't it? You want his story to end in Cleveland,
yes.
I'm assuming.
Yes. Well, no, his story No, but that's how the book ends.
I don't need the real life Moana. I've already seen Moana. I don't need the redo.
I don't think you've seen Moana.
Did they not have 2 cartoon versions and now there's a real life version that Disney's putting together? I don't need that. No one needs that. No one needs the real life Little Mermaid. Abdalla, this is what I'm saying. I've seen that story. I don't need LeBron going back to Cleveland again. I've seen that story.
Okay. But that's the story. But if you want,
do you not believe that I've seen these things?
I understand that, but I'm saying
they're garbage compared to the original cartoons.
If you want full villainous turn, like the most hatred you're ever gonna get, and like the most LeBron bashing you're ever gonna get, is go and trying to team up with Steph and Draymond for one final run.
Oh, no doubt.
After trying to beat them for so many years? Like, that's what you're going to do? No.
I agree.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
There's only one place he can go. And it's Cleveland. That's it. That's it.
What about Sacramento?
No,
what about the great people of Sacramento?
No. He should go
to Sacramento.
There's really only one other place he can go and try to do it in Chicago, but I don't think people here would.
No. I don't want any
You want
part.
to win? You want to put up a banner where Michael put one up? That's fine.
No, he's not going to be able to accomplish that.
Yeah, they don't have $50 million.
And to a national audience, for those who don't know, the Bulls don't try anymore.
They don't have.
They're not interested in trying.
$50 million.
So even if he wanted to join the Chicago Bulls, they wouldn't be interested because it would mean they would have to do something and try, and they don't try.
$50 million? They don't have that.
It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app, sponsored by Progressive Commercial Insurance, protecting small businesses with affordable coverage options. Quote today at progressivecommercial.com. Will Aaron Rodgers return to Pittsburgh? And what will that combination of Rodgers and McCarthy look like? We'll talk about that coming up next.
Imagine a sports platform that talks with you, not at you. Your stories, your opinions, your one destination. This is Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will be in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
Head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, Mike McCarthy, said on Monday that it would be a great story for Aaron Rodgers to return to the Steelers and team up with McCarthy. Now, McCarthy said this during an appearance in Green Bay for a celebration of life for the late Packers president, Bob Harlan, which is Kevin Harlan's our teammate here at Westwood One Sports. That's his father. So Kevin Harlan was on the stage with Mike McCarthy. He had to ask. It was his father's event, celebration of life, and he had to ask. He's a reporter. Kevin Harlan's a real solid pro. He had to ask McCarthy if Aaron Rodgers is going to return. I love that. Shout out to Kevin Harlan. He's great. He's the best, the absolute best. One of our teammates here at Westwood One Sports. And McCarthy responded by saying, yeah, it would be a great story. We have yet to hear whether or not Aaron Rodgers will be returning to the Pittsburgh Steelers this season. I'm Chris Bleck along with Adam Abdalla. It's Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports. We're still waiting on Aaron Rodgers, whether or not he'll play this upcoming season.
Well, he's got, let's see, 23, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He's got like 4 weeks to decide before the NFL draft. That's about it, buddy.
We're under a month.
Yeah.
To the NFL draft.
Because you have to decide to allow the Pittsburgh Steelers leeway in the NFL draft. If you don't decide before then, or at least say, hey, I'm leaning one way or another, the Pittsburgh Steelers have done nothing to add a quarterback in this free agency cycle. They didn't go after Kyler Murray. They didn't sign anybody. They didn't do anything. And so if they're going to draft someone, you need to let them know so they can maybe move back into the first round. They can move down. They can move up. They can do whatever they want to. But you need to let them know because right now, they don't really have anybody.
Well, their depth chart right now for the Pittsburgh Steelers at quarterback, Mason Rudolph is their starter. And Will Howard is their backup.
Well, and there was reports that like McCarthy likes Will Howard, but like you have to say that when you come in as the head coach. But yeah, I think he would prefer Aaron Rodgers to Will Howard or Ty Simpson to Will Howard.
Coaches always like all players.
Yeah, they like all the quarterbacks
until they're gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, what are they going to say? Yeah, what's he going to say? Yeah, Will Howard kind of sucks.
Yeah.
I'm taking this gig, but, the quarterbacks that are there are
Get out of here, Will
trash.
Howard.
You never hear a coach say that, so of course he's going to say that he likes him.
And you add Michael Pittman Jr., you trade for him, you extend him, you've got DK Metcalf, you've got a decent offensive line, you've got a good, a decent offensive line, you've got a good defense. So I don't see why Aaron Rodgers, it was reported, if you go all the way back about a month ago, it was reported from Ian Rappaport that Aaron Rodgers was going to make his decision before free agency started.
Okay, we're waiting for free agency to start. I'm cool with that. It's Bleck Abdalla. When does free agency start?
Our free agency extravaganza will be... No, it already happened.
Yeah, a few weeks ago.
Did someone knock on Aaron Rodgers' cave to see if he was going to come out?
Hello, is anyone in there? Aaron Rodgers, are you here?
Are you there?
Do you want to come see the sunlight and play some football this season?
I mean...
We've seen him. He's been on TV in the last month.
Yeah.
So he's around. I feel as if he was not going to play, we would already know.
He said as much when he joined the punter.
The punter.
The punter.
Pat McAfee.
I know, Pat McAfee.
The punter.
The punter. And he said,
the punter.
When I'm done, you won't ever. He said, when I'm done, you won't ever see me again. He's not going to be one of these guys that gets a desk job and is doing a pre or post game show.
Oh, okay.
And is
that
doing
type of desk job.
Yeah.
I was like, what desk job are these Hall of Fame quarterbacks?
No, he's not going to be working at Aflac.
Selling insurance?
No.
The hell are you talking about?
No, he's not going to be on Fox doing a pre or post game show.
He's booking travel for people.
or Fox News or whatever he wants to do. He's not going to be on one of those things. He's not going to be at Outkick or whatever he wants to do. He's not going to be there. You were never going to see Aaron Rodgers again, according to him. He's going to ride off into the sunset and into a forever darkness retreat, and he's going to spend his time doing ayahuasca.
I guess we hope, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Otherwise, there's going to be podcasts being thrown at us with all of his thoughts, and who wants that?
He's going to be calling a game. There's going to be a rain stick in the background, just shh.
Today's conspiracies for the game. He goes through different conspiracy theories instead of the keys to the game. Here's just his favorite conspiracies for the week.
Well, if the moon landing's not real, I think the Steelers will win by 4 here. They've got a good defense.
If you avoid this vaccine.
Yeah, and if the JFK assassination was a two-man job, I think that if you get to the court, they can get to the quarterback.
Could you imagine Rodgers at the telestrator? Like with his conspiracies and trying to draw on the like that would be outstanding. I would prefer to watch him play football for one more season.
Of course.
I think he can still play.
Of course. He played well last year.
Yes, he did.
And they got to the playoffs. So I just think that right now, if I had to bet on it, he's going to play. And he'll make his decision. And the best interest for him and the Steelers is to make this decision now and be there for all of the offseason training program. Because how many times did you see him in primetime games, in the playoffs, screaming either up into the air or at a receiver or at a coach or at someone because receivers weren't on the same page? He was missing throws because guys weren't running the right routes or whatever. If you're in camp and you have more time to get from, you've got a new receiver. You've got Michael Pittman. You've got a new receiver who's coming into camp. This isn't some rookie. Like, this is a veteran receiver who's coming in, who just got an extension. DK Metcalf, another year with a veteran receiver. Come in and start throwing to these guys. Develop a repertoire with these guys. Develop route running, get familiar with their tendencies, all that kind of stuff. And maybe, I don't know, go on a run this year. The Ravens are already the favorite to win the AFC.
Maybe go on a run.
Do something about that this year. I don't know.
It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. I need some help with something. I saw this story in the Washington Post.
Okay.
8 Gen Z habits that they try to explain. So the article is going through these Gen Z habits. So young people, right? You and I are millennials. Gen X is the generation above us. And then you get all the way to the older folks, the boomers, the boomer generation, right? But Gen Z is just below the millennials. We're talking people in their early 30s, mostly 20s into their teen years, right? Younger people, these are habits that they have. Abdalla, I want you to try and explain some of these Gen Z habits.
Okay.
First one.
Yes.
Gen Z's strained relationship with greetings. Have you ever seen this where you go into a place, a business, and you see someone working and they're clearly a younger person and they just stare at you?
I don't, yeah.
The Gen Z stare, and you have to say,
hey,
hello.
Could you take...
Welcome in, even though I'm the one welcoming myself into your store.
Would
And they
you
just
like to
blankly stare at you.
Would you like to help me?
Can you explain the Gen Z strained relationship with greetings? Why don't they greet people?
Because they're not used to talking to people. That's the problem. They're used to talking to their phones and communicating through their phones.
Okay, that's it. All right.
Yep.
Next up on the list, Gen Z's obsession with headphones.
This one, I'm constantly wearing my earbuds too. So like I understand this. Sometimes I wear my earbuds and there's nothing playing just because I don't want to talk to people. So I understand that. Sometimes I'm on the train and I just don't want to.
That's a big that's a hack on the public transportation.
Yeah,
So if you look like you're busy, no one will talk to you.
Yeah, I completely understand this. There's no explanation. I'm with you, Gen Z.
Gen Z's fear of uppercase letters when typing. Have you noticed this?
I do notice this, and I feel like this is something that they have to physically go in and do to their phone. You have to go in and change this setting to not automatically capitalize things, which seems like more work.
It's a lot of work.
It's more work to care about something than not. This is supposed to be the generation of not caring about things, and you have to go do more work to not care about something.
Oh, no. Laura's saying that Curtis does that. Bonk. What about this? Gen Z love the love that they have for voice notes. Do you ever use voice notes?
I don't.
I never use voice notes.
I don't use voice notes because I'm afraid it's going to misrepresent me.
Like if it's your voice.
No, but I'm going to say something and it's not going to type it out the way I said it.
I think voice notes are like you just record your voice and send it as a text.
No, I don't do that either. No. I'll just type it.
Next up on the list, Gen Z's complicated relationship with emojis. The article says that they only use emojis to mock people. They don't actively use emojis, and that's a boomer-like thing to do.
That I understand. That I've gone away from using them. I will react to things, but like I'll react to a text, but using emojis is I get it.
And the last one on the list, we might need to bring this up later because I don't think we have time to really dive into this one.
Mm-hmm.
The Gen Z aversion to opening a bar tab. Have you heard about this? That young people will just go and cash out every single time they buy a drink at a bar. They won't open the tab and just leave it open until they're finished.
Well, yeah. Have you seen the cost of drink these days? It's more than oil.
No, that's not the point. If you're only buying one, then I get that.
Yeah.
But if you are going to have multiple cocktails, beers, whatever, and you're somewhere, why are you individually paying each and every time you buy that drink? That's crazy.
Because they might have to leave.
Okay. You agree with the young people for doing this?
No,
That's insane.
Absolutely
It's
not.
insane
I
to do
don't
that.
agree with it. I think it's weird.
We have numbers out for the NCAA tournament. How many people were watching? Big numbers for the tournament. Is it bigger than the NBA? We'll talk about that coming up next.
This is Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
Welcome in to Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app, Sirius XM Channel 375, and all of our great radio affiliates around the country. I'm Chris Bleck along with Adam Abdalla, broadcasting live from downtown Chicago. We're on the air until 3 Eastern. You can call or text us on the call or text line at 310-840-4910. And Abdalla, the numbers are out from the tournament and the reviews on TV. The amount of people that watch, here's the information. The viewers for CBS and TNT delivered the most watched NCAA tournament first round opening day ever on Thursday. The games averaged 9.8 million viewers. It was the best opening day on record for the NCAA tournament. And obviously, you can listen to each and every game of the NCAA tournament right here on Westwood One Sports. Make sure you download the Westwood One Sports app for all of our coverage of March Madness and the NCAA tournament. But day one on Thursday, the most watched ever for Turner and CBS Sports.
And I think it's a reflection of what we've been talking about. You had a good combination of a few things. You had a few upsets, you had a couple buzzer beaters, and you also had, ultimately, the best programs moving on, along with higher seeded, recognizable names. When you get Texas as an 11 seed, yes, they're an 11 seed. There's an 11 next to their name, but it's still Texas. When you get a team like Nebraska, who's a 4 seed, but the story is Nebraska's never won a game in the NCAA tournament. Now they have a chance to win their 3rd, and they have a chance to take on and beat a team in Iowa who beat number 1 ranked Florida in their bracket. And that could end up being either team that wins. That could be, quote, America's team moving forward, because Iowa beat Florida, who's the number 1 team, and Nebraska, like I said, has never won an NCAA game. And then you had the great game between St. John's and Kansas, and now St. John's against Duke is going to be a great game. You've got Michigan State against UConn, should be a great game. So you had your smaller seeds, your high points beating Wisconsin, and you had your lower seeds win, and that was cool. But then you have the bigger programs, and ultimately you're going to get better basketball Thursday and Friday, and that should lead to better basketball Saturday and Sunday, and that should lead to a great Final Four next weekend.
I don't even know if you have to look at as specifically as you did breaking down the actual tournament to suggest that college basketball right now is having a moment. You know, and I think a lot of what happens this time of year is we get really involved with the NCAA tournament, and then you want to ask the question, is this better than the NBA product? You know, college basketball fans are going to say yes. I would say most people who are casuals to watching basketball have the perception that NBA players don't try, they don't play defense, and that the college game, the kids care more, which is true. And you know, last night, watching the NBA, you know, this is my analogy for this, right? When you're driving on the highway going 90 miles per hour and you pull the emergency brake, what happens? You come to a halting stop, right? Screeching tires, everything in the car flies forward.
Oh, yeah.
You skid to a stop, right? That's what it kind of felt like watching tournament games over the weekend, all 4 days. And then Monday night, flipping back to the NBA because there's no men's side tournament games last night, and the quiet arenas, right? The forced atmosphere of an NBA regular season game and a couple of blowouts.
Yeah.
And like I'm an NBA guy, so I love watching the NBA, but I felt it. It was a very dramatic difference between the tournament vibes that you got over the weekend and then just halting to a stop the regular season NBA games that we saw last night around the league. I love the NBA. It cannot compete with March Madness, though. I don't know if it needs to. And I feel like some of this conversation, you can join us here on Westwood One Sports at 310-840-4910. You can call or text that line. I do feel like some of this is a product of how the calendar kind of flows. And it's a great piece of conversation this week and next week for the NCAA tournament to point out that maybe college basketball is having a moment when in comparison, the NBA will have its time in a month or two as well. You know, when the NBA playoffs are going on, that's their moment. The tournament is college basketball's moment. And I think one of the reasons why you see the big numbers from Thursday, 9.8 million viewers on average per game for the NCAA tournament on Thursday, the TV ratings are in. I think it's because the storylines throughout the season were pretty good. Juicy NCAA storylines with college basketball on the men's side. You had multiple blue blood teams who are very good. You have a handful of players who are expected to be top 5 picks.
Yeah.
Where we all are watching them play in college basketball. You know, when you look at next year's draft for the NBA draft, the projections, the last couple of seasons, it's been a few Frenchmen, someone from Spain, you know, a whole bunch of Euros thrown into the mix, and maybe one college basketball player, which hurts the intrigue. But when it's 7, 8 deep of guys who are all projected to go in the top 10, and they're all playing in college basketball, and you can watch them throughout the season, that's interesting. It's good to see. So I think all of that coming together is why this year's tournament is an exciting tournament that people want to tune into.
Yeah, I think, like you mentioned, you look at the top 10, everybody's in college right now. There's not a single player that's a G League player, that's an overseas player, like you mentioned, and you're watching all these guys play. Now, unfortunately, you had like AJ DeBonsa bow out, Darren Peterson bow out, and, you get to still see a few of these players move on if you want to. But I think that the problem is for the emergency break, like you mentioned, going to the NBA.
It's a vibe killer, man. Like,
it is.
Like to go from the tournament and all of the, just the constant cheering from the cheerleaders and the pep bands.
Yes.
And then the fans and the arenas are into it.
People
from
say,
all of that. And then going to, an NBA game where they're playing the music and it's like quiet. It's like study hall. It's very quiet in there.
People say that the Monday after the Super Bowl is bad. I think the Monday after the first 4 days of the tournament is the hangover day. Because that Sunday night game, that goes late.
Oh, yeah.
That Sunday.
It was like a 9:15 Central Time tip.
Yeah. And like, to be fair, it was a blowout. Alabama was blowing out Texas Tech and let everybody go to sleep early. That's fine. But I'm not trying to propose groundbreaking changes here. Maybe we get one Monday night game just to ease us back into the week.
Oh, no.
Could we move one game to Monday night?
No. College basketball?
Yeah, let's move one game to Monday night just to slow us back in, to ease us back into our work week.
No. I like the
you
way
like it all?
is. I like Thursday, Friday,
Oh,
Saturday, Sunday.
You want to get right back into the NBA?
Yeah, I mean, what's the problem? Did you have a problem last night watching sports?
Yeah, it was kind of a buzzkill.
No, I'm just saying in comparison to what I was watching with the tournament, it did feel like I was driving 90 on the highway.
Yeah.
And I pulled the emergency brake and we just skidded to a stop.
Yeah, it was kind of a buzzkill watching the Grizzlies and the Hawks.
Well, you didn't have to watch. You could have gone for a walk. Just go. Why don't you go bird?
Bird?
Yeah, birding.
I can't bird at night. What birds are you looking at night?
Listen.
No, they go to bed. The birds go to sleep.
Have you ever thought about that? I know that this is getting off topic. Have you ever thought about, like, I'm sure there's a lot of people in this country who have thought about this.
A bird?
But, like, have you ever seen a bird sleeping?
I've never seen a bird.
Or, like, where they go when they sleep?
They go to their nests.
No, I know.
What do you mean, where do they go? They go to their nests.
But have you ever seen the nest where they're all snuggled up?
It is amazing that we went to the same college in high school. And, like, I saw you graduate. Like, I sat next to you.
I was there.
I saw you. I was next to you during graduation.
Confirmed.
Because of our last names, Bleck and Abdalla, they are alphabetically convenient.
Confirmed.
Like,
I was there, man.
I watched you get a diploma.
Yeah.
And the fact that you are asking where birds sleep?
No, I'm saying, have you ever watched it? Have you ever seen it in person? Have you
I don't need to know.
Well,
I went to school.
Of course, I know that they sleep.
Have you been to a zoo?
Yeah, I've been to a zoo.
Have you been to an aviary in the zoo?
Yes, I have.
Have you seen a nest?
They're flying about.
Have you seen a nest?
Yes, I've seen nests.
Have you watched the Animal Planet channel, the Animal Discovery, whatever?
The number one thing right now, it's the springtime. So you got to watch out for those nests in places that you don't want them.
Yeah.
So the robins are building nests.
There they
you gotta
are.
knock them down. Last week on the show, you weren't here. And Jeff Schwartz was filling in for you on Friday. And he had a bird in his house. He had a bird in the house. It was not his bird. And he was very cool. He was a cool customer about it.
What?
He was like totally cool about it.
A bird was...
It happened on the show.
He got a new roommate and was just cool about it?
Yeah, he was like, it'll find its way out.
Nope.
I don't think
That would
I
ruin,
told him this.
I would have walked out of the show. That would have been the end of the show.
I know. That's
You'd
what
have
I
been
told him.
You'd have been on your own until that bird left my house.
As a good teammate, I suggested he go and handle it.
Yeah.
I thought it was a bigger issue. He goes, no, it'll fly out. I was like, what? I could never. I would have a new roommate if that were the case. We would have a third in the house if a bird was there.
Josh Graham, who hosts Westwood One Nights here and joins us for college basketball expertise,
He's going to join us tomorrow.
texts us, better question, do flowers exist at night?
What does that even mean? What?
Who works here? Did we not go to college? Did we not? Is Nick Costos going to text us something weird too about like where do dogs sleep at night? Like, did y'all not go to college?
No, you
did y'all not go,
you see where dogs sleep.
Did y'all not go to school? Am I the only one that went to like? What are we doing here?
It's you and Rome.
Rome and I are the only ones that went to college. What are we doing?
You two are the only ones who are educated.
Do flowers exist at night?
What is Josh talking about?
I thought I heard him talking about this on the weekend. Do flowers exist at night?
Some flowers do.
They only bloom during the day, and then
so you see the flower.
Yeah.
I had a few of those.
Yeah.
Doesn't a hibiscus plant? Doesn't that what they do? Is like during the day the flower opens.
Yeah.
For the sun, and then it closes up when it's night. Is that what he's talking about?
Have you ever seen flowers at night? Really makes you think. No,
it doesn't make you think. No,
it doesn't. No, I know. No, it doesn't make me think. I went to school.
It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Josh will join us tomorrow to preview the Sweet 16 and the Elite Eight.
I don't think we're previewing that at all. I think I have other questions for Josh now. I think I need to see diplomas before he comes out of school. He comes out from his school before he comes and joins us now.
Oh, my God. That's great. The tournament, though, has been fantastic to this point. I don't know if we need to declare that it's a better product than the NBA. I think people that enjoy college basketball enjoy it for what it is. And I think people that enjoy the NBA enjoy the NBA. I don't know. Like, the NBA is fighting a battle right now where nothing they do will make anyone happy. So it's just like a pile on. Everyone's going to point out why everything else is better than the NBA right now. And that's just how it is.
I think to me, this is like the argument, like you and I are soccer fans. And I think this happened a lot during the Olympics when people started to watch Team USA and hockey. And there were casual hockey fans. And you see a lot of casual fans. You hear the word casual a lot during the NCAA tournament and during the Olympics when people parachute in to watch Team USA and they're not watching the NHL during the regular season or during the playoffs. They just want to watch Team USA win something.
Right.
And hockey fans, NHL fans, get upset for some reason when other people who don't watch the sport start watching their sport. And I think this is kind of an example of that. Okay, you might think that college basketball is better than the NBA. Good for you. I might think that the NBA is better than college basketball. Good for me. I don't care. I don't care what you watch. Don't care about what I watch. Like, shouldn't you, like to me, this is...
I don't care what you watch.
I don't care what you watch. I don't care what you watch when you're at home. Don't worry about what I watch when I'm at home. Like, if you're an NHL fan, shouldn't you want more people to consume your sport? Like, shouldn't you want it? Like, if you like soccer,
yes.
Shouldn't you want more people to watch soccer so it gets more popular in this country? Like, shouldn't you want more viewers?
Care?
But that's my point. Like, also, like, it doesn't matter. Like, if you like college basketball, watch college basketball. If you think the NBA is better, just watch the NBA. Why do we have to have this argument that, oh, the product is better and this product's better, and just watch what you want to watch? It doesn't matter to me that one's better than the other. I'm going to watch both. I don't care. I just know that tuning in all day, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then going to Monday night was a very hard shift into a different brand of basketball that I saw over the weekend.
Stu points out, he's in for Raj today. He points out that people in England get upset when you watch their sport. Their sports, football,
Yeah.
soccer.
Yeah.
It's their sport. They get upset about it.
And I don't understand why. If I
Because,
go over there and I'm like, hey,
all of us in our American slop, we try and mess up their sport. That's why.
I think they get mad when we crap on the sport. When we say soccer's boring, there's no scoring, there's none of this, but yet we'll turn on a baseball game that's 2-1 and we'll love that has 4 seconds of action because all you're doing is striking out or hitting home runs.
Well, you and we're the wrong show for that because you and I actively watch soccer.
I know that.
And we actively watch the Premier League. So, like, it is, if you're looking at the chart of things that I watch and consume, European soccer is high on the list behind NFL football, NBA basketball, and then everything else. So, like, we're the wrong guys for that, but we also understand its place in the social conversation.
Yes.
And Armin Williams would go nuts if you and I started breaking down Premier League soccer here on the show.
No, that's what the World Cup's for in the summer.
Yeah,
World Cup is on its
cover ya.
way.
Although the World Cup, I think because this year we're going to have the World Cup in North America, the times of the games won't be that crazy. Like in the past, when the games are overseas, you get games in the morning, you get games in the middle of the day. I'm guessing, are the times even out? I'm guessing the games are all going to be prime time, right? Like Team USA is likely to play like evening games.
I imagine it'll be like a 1 o'clock and like a 4 o'clock and then like a 7 o'clock game.
Or even later. I mean, there's West Coast stadiums that are going to be hosting the World Cup.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, there might be even later. Yeah.
But I guess the thing that I would point out is you and I are going to be on the air during the day in the summer, where in the past you would have watch parties at noon because the game is taking place, prime time overseas.
Yeah.
Which would then make it a day game in the States. Yeah, but like, I think it's funny how you don't care about what anyone else is watching.
No,
You're just
I'm going to watch what I want to watch.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because I watch a lot of weird stuff sometimes. I watch reality TV shows.
Yeah? Oh,
I
okay.
watch other stuff. Don't worry about what I watch at home.
I'm not worried.
If I want to watch college basketball, I'll watch it. If I want to watch soccer, I'll watch it. Don't worry about me.
Have you really ever seen a bird like take a nap or sleep?
I know where they sleep. I've also never seen a baby pigeon because pigeons aren't real.
Okay, all right. See, I took it one step too far. It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports.
Have you ever seen a baby pigeon?
Yes. I'm trying to prevent them right now.
Where have you seen a baby pigeon?
In the nests that the pigeons are trying to make at my house.
You've seen the baby. You've seen the baby.
I've seen in past years. I've seen it. Yes.
You've seen the baby.
Yes, I've seen them. Yes.
Robots.
Okay. It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. You can call or text the show at 310-840-4910. Coming up next, who is the best coach left in March Madness? We'll talk about that coming up next.
Westwood One. We love sports. We love to laugh. We love hearing from you. Talking sports with you, not at you. This is Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
Each day here on the show, we broadcast live from downtown Chicago at NBC Tower. It's Bleck and Abdalla. Around this time during the show, we always go to Raj, who produces the show out of Colorado. But Raj is out this week. Stu Kovacs is in live from New Jersey. It's now time for Power Rankings. What's up, Stu?
All right, guys, what is up? Obviously, we have the Sweet 16, which will be getting underway in a couple of days. So let's do some March Madness-related power rankings here.
Let's do it.
First one, who is the best head coach left in March Madness? Bleck?
All right, so this is a good question. Best head coach left in the tournament. So I think number one on my list for my power rankings, I'm going to go Tom Izzo. Calvin Sampson is on my list at number 2. I think I have to put Hurley 3. I think Hurley is, he's won at the highest level, so he's got the championship.
No respect.
And then probably 4, I'm going to go Patino.
Wow.
I'm going to go 4 Patino. So I'm going to go Izzo, Sampson, Hurley, Patino. Those are my power rankings for the best head coach left in the tourney.
I go Izzo 1. I'm going to go Patino 2. Hurley, Sampson. That's my, and then I'm going to go, I mean, honestly.
What about your boy? You're a Nate Oates guy. What happened to Nate Oates?
Nate Oates hasn't won anything.
Wow.
Nate Oates hasn't won. He's gotten to
Upset.
He's gotten to a Final Four. Nate Oates hasn't won anything.
Upset alert.
And Alabama's going to have to pony up a bunch of money. They already did. They're going to have to pony up a bunch more money to get him to stay because North Carolina, if they fire Davis, is going to, the rumor is they're going to come calling for Nate Oates. So we shall see.
Stu?
All right, we talked about coaches. What about players now? Who do you guys think are the best players left in the March Madness field?
Left in the field, I'm probably going to go with Cam Boozer is probably the best player left in the field. We talked about Darius Acuff yesterday. He's probably number 2. And then you mentioned Alabama. LeBaron Philon is a player that can take over a game for me. He actually, when they beat Texas Tech, he actually didn't have a great game, which is crazy for how much they were putting it on Texas Tech, and Philon didn't even have a great game.
Yeah, for my power rankings of the best players left in the tournament, I'm going to go Kingston Flemings from Houston as my number 1. I think Darius Acuff at number 2. He's had a great tournament so far for Arkansas. And then give me Cam Boozer as number 3. I think Boozer is the best outlook as a professional, but I'm going to put him as number 3 for my power rankings, best player in the tournament left. Stu?
All right. Obviously, we've had a lot of buzzer beaters in the history of the tournament, a couple this year, but nothing really too crazy in the first 2 rounds other than St. John's and Kentucky that come to mind. What are your favorite March Madness moments of all time, Bleck?
All right, first and foremost, I'm spotty on the actual year, but I was in the arena. I believe it took place in Houston when Villanova won the championship on the 3-point shot, where at the last second, the pass back at Chris Jenkins, I think was the name of the player. He got the ball back, Villanova for 3 in, and then the celebration commenced immediately after it. I was there covering that Final Four. That, to me, is the best. Winning the championship with a buzzer beater and seeing the celebration that took place from that, that's my favorite moment. And then I think my second favorite is a shot that didn't fall. One of my favorite moments of the tournament was the Gordon Hayward at Butler, the like 3/4 of a court heave that almost went down.
I would have won.
It almost went down, and Butler almost won the national title.
I would have won so much money.
I love that moment. It almost fell. What a shot that would have been.
I would have won a pool that year, but I ended up coming in second.
That would have been cool. So those are my 2 favorite tournament moments.
Okay,
that come to mind.
My favorite, I'm gonna go with again. This won't happen anymore. I don't think this would happen anymore. But I'm gonna go back to 2010. Ali Faroukmanesh. Ali Faroukmanesh, my guy. Northern Iowa beating Kansas. Because Kevin Harlan was on the call.
Yes, he was.
Like him yelling Faroukmanesh was great. And like we talk about, you're not going to get those Cinderellas anymore. Like deep into the tournament. And him beating Kansas and like he's still coaching now. He's like an assistant somewhere. But him, like those guys taking over for their teams and taking them into the Sweet 16, the Elite 8, you're not going to get that anymore. Like I just said it, 2010, it was 16 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, you're not really going to get those types of moments anymore, but the name will always stick with you. The names, the Faroukmaneshes, the Pitsnoggles, those types of names.
That's right. West Virginia, right?
Yeah, Kevin Pitsnoggle will always stick with you,
big
and
dude.
that one will live with me. Obviously, home team Abdalla and Faroukmanesh will never ever leave my brain. The way he beat Kansas in 2010.
How about that, Stu? I was good on the name. Chris Jenkins in 2016 when Villanova won it, and then the Hayward was in 2010.
Oh, so that was that year when Faroukmanesh. Okay.
Yeah, same year. It's pretty good.
All right, now
What's
looking
next,
at
Stu?
you did mention Cinderellas. What do you think is the most memorable tournament run from a Cinderella team, Abdalla?
Okay, so I think we're biased here in the city, but the one we're broadcasting out of Chicago, but the run Loyola went on here was like that took over.
They got to the
city.
Final Four.
They got to the Final Four.
Loyola Chicago got to the Final Four.
And
That's
that
crazy.
Was nuts here in the city of Chicago. I mean, Sister Jean became like the mayor of the city, and she was everywhere nationally. She was everywhere in the city of Chicago, and that team just dominated the conversation even after they lost for like 2-3 weeks after they ended up losing. And so that one to me will always be the most memorable because we were here when it happened. We were a part of it. So it just meant more because we were covering it and we were like in the thick of it.
Yeah, with Porter Moser and Denzel Valentine was a player.
Yeah.
He's now their coach. And Porter Moser is at Oklahoma, still at Oklahoma, and they're going to bring him back. So, yeah, that's a good selection. You know, Stu, two that jump out to me, maybe people will think this is cheap the way I'm going to phrase this, but my two favorite Cinderella runs, I always enjoyed watching Steph Curry at Davidson. I thought that was really cool because Steph Curry was so small, and at the time we didn't know what he would turn into, and we knew that he was a famous NBA player's son, but we didn't know that he would eventually turn into one of the all-time greatest players in NBA history. So Davidson is one that jumps out to me, and the other was Murray State with Ja Morant. The Murray State run with Ja was cool because Ja Morant was seen as a first-round pick, but he wasn't seen as like a top 3 pick and a player who could challenge Zion Williamson for the best player in the draft. And what he was able to do in the NCAA tournament was a cool thing to follow for a couple of games. So I'm going to say the Murray State team with Ja Morant and Davidson with Steph Curry.
All right, looking at some of the fan bases around the sport of college hoops, who do you think has the best fan base, Bleck?
You went best, Stu? Come on.
Best fan base in college hoops.
Best is tough. Worst is so much better.
I think, well, worst, yeah. I think Kentucky. If I think of the best college basketball fan base, it's got to be a blue blood that's won at a high level for a very long time. I think Kentucky fits that bill. There's a lot of great ones, but when I think of like college basketball fandom, I think of it. They play in Rupp Arena.
Yeah,
that place being packed for every game. Yeah, I'm gonna settle with Kentucky.
Okay, so I have had a chance to go to. I was on campus for when Illinois, that Final Four run back when you and I were in college. I was on campus for that game. I was at the United Center when they lost to Alabama this year. And it was an Illinois home game, and they brought like the whole band, and they did all the same stuff that they do in the arena. I'm going to say Illinois fans.
Illinois? You're saying
fans.
Illinois?
Yeah, because you know what?
Okay.
They're very self-aware
Homer.
about their team. Homer, I didn't go there. I don't have any allegiances to Illinois whatsoever.
You're
Nothing.
broadcasting out of the state of Illinois.
Yeah, what? So what? I didn't pay them for anything. I didn't go to college there. I didn't do anything in Illinois.
Stu, what do you think? I think this is a homer pick by
What, you want me to
Abdalla.
pick Kansas or Michigan State or Michigan?
Michigan State, I think, would be a better answer.
Yeah,
I think Michigan State
Michigan
is a pretty
State
good
does have
answer.
good fans. I would say Michigan State too. Michigan State, but that's kind of a homer pick for me too. Half my family is in Michigan.
Stu, what do you think here? I mean, what's
yeah.
Abdalla doing?
I mean,
I did not
I'm
have
familiar
Illinois
with
on the
them. I've
bingo
been a
card
part
here.
of them. I'm familiar with them.
I mean, I'll allow it. If you think it is the best, then I think that's fine. You mentioned the worst, though. What do you think? Who do you think has the worst fan base, Abdalla?
Kansas. Kansas, Duke.
Yeah, Kansas and Duke are they're definitely in the Final Four
Duke.
of obnoxious
I'm
fan
a
bases.
Duke fan.
Kansas Duke, yeah, that's probably the two. Those
Yeah.
are the two.
It's those two. I wouldn't even say North Carolina fans are good too. I would say.
Yeah, so they don't make your list.
No, they don't make my list. Yeah. They're
All
good.
right.
They make the list of good fans.
I'll agree with that. Kansas and Duke fans are
Duke.
not. Yeah, I'm Duke. I'm Coach K. What's your major, student reporter? You're lucky to be here. Stu, what else do you have for us?
All right,
Our
last
rankings.
one here. Who do you guys think is the best college basketball player of all time? Bleck?
Best college basketball player of all time. We probably have to go way back. Is it wrong to say Bill Walton? I mean, the
think
run that
that's
they had at
perfectly fine,
UCLA
yeah.
while he was there.
With those
I'm
dominant
just trying
teams,
to think
yeah.
of those who were just like 100% great college basketball players, and then they had their success after. Because like so much of this conversation always gets swiped into the NBA and what players accomplish in the NBA. It's probably Bill Walton or Magic Johnson. Those are going to be my two as the best. And if you want to throw Larry Bird into that 3-pack, I could be convinced to do that because he was at
Okay.
Indiana State
Okay.
making deep runs. So
Okay. Can I give you one? I'm just going to give you ones that I saw, right? Like, I'm not going to give you the historical ones. You went the
Farouk
historical.
Minesh?
Yeah, Ali Farouk Minesh. No, I'm going to give you ones that I remember. That,
Okay.
like, when you
Yes.
said, Stu, when you said the best, I'm just going to jump out the ones that I saw. I'm not going to go through history. Carmelo.
Carmelo's a good one.
Carmelo is the first one that
He was
jumped
a
to my
great
mind.
one.
And he complete bust in the NBA, but had a chance to be the next guy. It was Zion. It was Zion Williamson.
Yeah, Zion Williamson was pretty good. I would say Dwayne Wade had a
Dwayne
great
Wade was
run
up there.
at
Yeah.
Marquette.
Yeah, absolutely. But Zion was like
Zion was pretty
a
cool.
phenom. And so I immediately, when you said best college basketball player, I just took it as that I've ever seen. I didn't just go with history. So it was Carmelo for me. Carmelo's number one.
There you go, Stu. Thank you.
Thank you. That was fun.
Stu Kovacs, Power Rankings with Stu, filling in for Raj Sharon, who's off this week. It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Pollen season is here, but your dirty car doesn't have to be. Wash it away with Tidal Wave Auto Spa for a quick wash and to get a clean car happy feeling. Find a location at TidalWaveAutoSpa.com. It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports. There's the simulation golf tournament, TGL, the finals. What are you laughing at?
Nothing. It's just
What are you laughing at?
simulation golf.
Well, you can't say it's a golf tournament because they're playing on a simulator.
I know.
So the final is tonight on ESPN television, and Tiger Woods will play in the event. Does golf need Tiger for an interest standpoint? We'll talk about that next.
Tournament tension is at an all-time high.
On the way, and good!
And we've got your front row seat. Stream all of March Madness on the Westwood One app.
It's up, it's down!
From your home of the NCAA tournament, Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
Make sure you check out our new YouTube channel, Bleck and Abdalla Show. Like and subscribe to our channel today. You can also watch the show live on YouTube each and every day. Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports. What are your thoughts on the league in the winter with golfers where they play and they hit into a simulator? The TGL, which is on ESPN television, it's a made-for-TV event. Tiger Woods is going to participate tonight. It's his league, and he is participating. He's healthy enough to play tonight, so he'll be on TV. Most notably, the important thing with Tiger Woods is that we are 3 weekends away from the Masters, and he has yet to say he's not participating in the Masters this season, this year. So I think that's the intrigue to me. If you're going to check this out, I would want to see whether or not Tiger is capable of participating in the Masters in 3 weeks.
But him hitting a golf ball in a simulator is not about him being ready to play the Masters.
No, but if he is healthy enough to participate in this event, maybe he is healthy enough
Maybe.
to participate
But
in a couple of weeks in the
part-
Masters.
But the biggest part of the Masters and with him is walking for 4 days.
Oh, yeah, no
That's
doubt.
the bigger part
Yeah.
of this for him.
Absolutely.
And look, I go to a simulator and hit a golf ball into a gigantic sheet. No one comes to watch me.
Well, yeah, okay.
I'm not watching this.
Neither am I. I'm not.
I don't wanna watch
This is
this.
only news, and we're only talking about it today is because Tiger Woods is participating tonight.
Okay.
I think the entire thing is stupid.
I'm not watching this.
People go and they watch this. Professionals hit into a screen. I don't get it, man. It's not for me.
And I get it. They've got way more than my local simulator has. They've got fake, or it's not fake. They've got sand and they've got little grass.
They've got greens that move, and they can change the setting that you're standing in for
Okay.
your feet placement. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Cool,
I
I guess.
if I'm going to watch golf at this time of year, I'm watching the actual PGA Tour. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
even watching live stuff.
No.
You know, this upcoming weekend, they have the Houston Open.
Sure.
Next weekend's the Texas Open. And then in 3 weeks, it's the Masters. So, like, if I were to watch golf, I would watch the players play on a real course.
Yeah.
I'm not watching the guys hit into a simulator because it's counter programming to whatever ESPN's trying to get you to watch.
No, I'm not watching this. I'm not, even if Tiger's in it, I'm not watching Tiger practice golf to see if he's ready to play in the Masters because I still don't think this is the barometer for him to be ready to play in the Masters. The barometer is if he can walk 4 days worth of golf. That's the barometer.
I would say I do think to some extent, like I know that the level of interest that Tiger Woods brings to casual sports fans to the game of golf is way larger than what you could measure for any other golfer. But I do feel like we have entered kind of a place where golf is at a good spot. There's a lot of guys that you can follow along with from if you're just someone that watches the 4 majors compared to week. Like, there are some names that catch people's attention, and usually they're pretty good. And it starts with Scottie Scheffler. And Scottie Scheffler and Rory McIlroy, they're the two best right now. They're number 1 and 2 in the world rankings. And usually when you get to the big-time majors, they're both in play, especially Scheffler as of late. He's been in play in almost every single major for the last 2 years. Sure, the personalities may not jump off the page, and I find Rory to be kind of annoying, and the amount of time he takes wiggling over the golf ball just irritates me. But he's damn good, and he performs at the highest level in the biggest spots as well.
Yeah, and I like watching Scheffler. There's something about just him being so consistent and automatic, and that's what makes him so great and also so boring at the same time. Like, he's a boring golfer. Like, let's be honest. Like, he's got no personality whatsoever. And
that's where I was kind of pointing to, like, golf, the game itself has a lot of very talented players that are worth watching, but the personalities don't match the era that Tiger was running as the best golfer in the world. Tiger's personality matched with his absolute domination of the sport is why everyone tuned in for.
Yeah, but I also think there were other personalities when Tiger was down. Like, Phil was a big personality. Phil Mickelson was a big person. Like, they don't have, there's not as many big, I think, like, there are a few, but they're
some
not
of
as
them,
good.
Well, I mean, the biggest, I think the player that most people rally behind in the majors is not participating in the PGA Tour, and that's Bryson DeChambeau.
Yeah.
I think Bryson in the last couple of years, with his ability with social media to extend his reach on his personality, he has become one of my favorite golfers. He was the guy that I didn't like a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Then I started watching his YouTube channel and found out that he's actually kind of fun to watch.
Yeah.
And he's like, the way he talks about the game. Have you ever seen the videos? I know this is getting real, like, inside golf, but I feel like most common people would enjoy it. Have you ever seen the videos on YouTube of Tiger Woods playing around while being mic'd up?
Yeah.
And he's in, like, gym shorts and a Nike shirt, and he's just playing around. And as he's playing the round, he is explaining to the person watching everything he's thinking about before he hits a golf ball.
Yeah.
It is so cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the best things you can watch in sports, to see the best ever explain all the different scenarios and how he's, a tighter grip, or he more a shift of the weight, or how he's going to hold his hands and whatever he's doing, like the entire thought process. And then you see the videos with Bryson DeChambeau, and one, they're fun, and two, he's doing the same thing, and it's like this is the insight you need with golf to get casual people involved, and that's why DeChambeau is such a good personality for the sport.
Well, Bryson stopped taking himself so seriously, and he stopped drinking 300 grams of protein.
He stopped wearing the little hats.
He stopped wearing
the little newsboy hats.
He stopped wearing the little and he even said it. He was drinking like 500 grams of protein shakes a day, and he was like super like thick, and he was trying to like out muscle the room.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't working, but he was also like just not a nice guy because of it. And then he just stopped and became self-aware and just became a nicer guy and was fun to be around. And then everybody kind of liked him again. And that's what changed for him.
So, I mean, I don't think golf will ever get back to the point that it was with Tiger in his prime, but I do think it's in a healthy spot.
Yeah, I think that when Tiger shows up, it is still a big deal. If he plays in the Masters, it's a big deal. If he makes the cut and moves on to Saturday and Sunday, it's a big deal. I don't think he's got a shot to win, but more people will watch when Tiger has a chance or is on TV.
Well, and that's why I pointed out that tonight's event, sure, you can watch him hit a golf ball into his screen. Me personally, it doesn't really do anything for me. I like to see the flight of the ball. So, like, I would much rather go to a driving range where you can watch the golf ball fly instead of hitting it into a screen that's 5 feet in front of you.
Yeah.
But a lot of people like going to the simulators. They like hanging out and doing that. That is definitely something that's out there. And so if Tiger is there tonight and he looks healthy, I wonder if tonight on the broadcast he drops some hints. Like, we'll see in a couple weeks. Because, that's the number one thing people want to know is whether or not Tiger will participate at the Masters. And it's not even about whether or not he can win it or play well. It's just people just want to see him at the Masters.
Play and make the cut. That's all you got to do. Play and make the cut so you're playing Saturday and Sunday. That's all you got to do. Just do that.
But I don't think golf will ever get back to that level of obsession for sports fans, because you need someone to galvanize everyone. And like you mentioned, like Scottie Scheffler may one day put together a run of winning at the same level that Tiger does, but his personality isn't what Tiger had.
No. He's not celebrating the way Tiger did. He's not drawing the same amount of fans that Tiger did. He just doesn't have the charisma. He doesn't have the flash that Tiger did. And that's what drew fans in, is that the ability to have that just to draw people in. And Scheffler, he's great.
I think charisma is the way to say it.
He's the best golfer in the world, but he's just not interesting.
No, because I think you're right. If you talk about the two athletes for our lifetime who had the best charisma, it was Tiger Woods and Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
It was, absolutely. And that's why the winning going along with that is why everyone paid attention. It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. We are under a month away from the NFL draft in Pittsburgh. The Bleck Abdalla Show, we will be live there on the scene for the first round of the NFL draft. Coming up next, let's talk about the latest mock draft. Field Yates has a new mock out from ESPN. We'll talk about that next, right here on Westwood One Sports.
This is Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app, SiriusXM Channel 375, and all of our great radio affiliates around the country. I'm Chris Bleck along with Adam Abdalla, broadcasting live from downtown Chicago. We are on the air until 3 Eastern, and then we'll hand it off to Jim Rome right here on Westwood One Sports. You can call or text the show on our call or text line at 310-840-4910. It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports. ESPN's Field Yates has a new mock draft out, Abdalla. We're going to talk about that right here. And also, we're under a month away from the NFL draft in Pittsburgh. Cannot wait to get there for the first round, the Thursday night, breaking down the first round action of the NFL draft. We'll be there on Thursday and Friday for the draft in Pittsburgh. Cannot wait. And I think there's a lot of good, interesting storylines, even though on the surface, a lot of the conversation is about the quarterbacks and how many quarterbacks will go in the first round. Field Yates on ESPN.com, like everyone else, has Fernando Mendoza as the number one pick going to the Las Vegas Raiders. As you scroll through what Field Yates posted on ESPN today, the one spot that we continue on through, usually what we've seen is two defensive players going off the board at 2 and 3 to the Jets and the Cardinals. At 4, Tennessee has been a spot where multiple mock drafts have placed Jeremiah Love, the running back from Notre Dame, as a player going to the Tennessee Titans. Field Yates does not have Jeremiah Love landing to the Titans. Field Yates has Sonny Styles, the linebacker from Ohio State, going to Tennessee. So now this is back-to-back days. We saw Todd McShay suggest a defensive player to Tennessee at this spot yesterday. And now Field Yates today saying a defensive player going to Tennessee at 4. As we first glance at the Field Yates mock draft on ESPN.com.
I've always liked Field Yates.
Field's a great guy.
Yeah, I've always liked Field Yates.
Yeah, he always has a leveled thinking approach to how this is going to break down.
Yeah, and look, his reasoning is sound. You have a defensive-minded head coach. You're going to load up on defense. You have the 4th overall pick in a very defensive-heavy draft that is full of defensive linemen and linebackers, and you've seen the past 2 Super Bowl winners in the Philadelphia Eagles and the Seattle Seahawks both win with their defense. And when you have a defensive-minded head coach in Robert Saleh coming over and taking over the Tennessee Titans, no matter who they added in free agency, trading for Jermaine Johnson, signing John Franklin Myers, which he points out, to their defensive line, you can never have enough pass rushers. And if you have the chance to add a solid linebacker in Sonny Styles from Ohio State, you do it. You do it because you need bodies to just throw at quarterbacks. You just keep overwhelming quarterbacks at that position, and you do it in the draft, and you keep getting younger, and you add more bodies that way because they're inexpensive, and they're at the top of the draft with the 4th overall pick. Why wouldn't you do it? So I have no problem with what Field Yates lays out here. And then at number 5 to the New York Giants, where we saw yesterday, Todd McShay had the New York Giants taking Jeremiah Love, the running back from Notre Dame. He has the Giants taking Caleb Downs, the safety out of Ohio State. Again, Caleb Downs is supposed to be one of the best players in the draft. Would you take a safety just the position overall, top 5 in the draft? Maybe not. But if Caleb Downs is going to be one of the best safeties in the draft, we know that John Harbaugh is a technically special teams coach, whatever, but defensive-minded special teams.
Technically, he is.
He is, but I mean, you don't.
Well, hold on. You said technically, whatever.
You don't say someone that's a special teams-minded head coach, though. Like that's not something that you say. He's not an offensive-minded head coach. So when you
technically, whatever. The quote of the day from Abdalla.
No one comes in and says, "Well, I'm a special team. I'm going to come in and draft myself a kicker with the 5th overall pick." He's not a special teams-minded head coach. I would say that this would make sense, taking some form of, again, with a defensive-rich draft, taking a defensive player at 5 makes the most sense. Whether it's Caleb Downs at safety, whether it's another defensive player, this makes sense for the New York Giants. And then you've got the Cleveland Browns at 6 taking Carnell Tate, a wide receiver out of Ohio State.
We've seen a lot of people point to wide receiver going at 6 to Cleveland.
Yep.
And a lot of people mock drafting that Carnell Tate is the guy that will go at 6 to Cleveland. Now at 7, this is where it's interesting. I don't know if you saw this yesterday. Did you see Adam Schefter reference all of the mock drafts that keep suggesting that Jeremiah Love will go 4? And then Adam Schefter on ESPN television yesterday was like, I'm not hearing that. Did you see that? You know, because Schefter what he does, which is the absolute best in reporting, is that if there is something that's out there that's not actually out there, he has no problem in telling people that that's not.
It's not what I'm hearing.
Because like what a lot of this, I think, is you get teams and agents out there trying to sell you something to then hopefully benefit their talent, right? So whether it be you're an agency or if you are a team hoping that a player falls, there's a lot of that goes on with the NFL draft. And when we get to this point and you see a lot of mocks pushing Love 4, you got to question, where is this coming from? Because you and I have laid it out. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Why would Tennessee go running back? They don't need a running back. They need a wide receiver or a defensive player.
Yeah.
So Schefter yesterday on ESPN television was like, yeah, it's not something I'm hearing. And then he mentioned Washington. And then today, you see Washington at 7, Field Yates has Jeremiah Love going to Washington, the Commanders, running back from Notre Dame. So I think that is something we should kind of focus on, is that Field Yates and Schefter yesterday and today are pointing to Jeremiah Love going off the board at 7 to the Commanders.
Yeah, and it makes a lot of sense. You know, they signed a couple of veterans in Rashad White and Jerome Ford in free agency. They have Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, which he references, the only returning running back. He had 800 rushing yards last year. So I would say this would make a lot of sense. And he does also mention this would be the floor. He's not getting past 7, which would make sense as to why Kansas City signed Kenneth Walker because they don't believe he's getting to 9. Because they don't believe that Jeremiah Love is getting to 9. So let's give Kenneth Walker a lot of money in this free agency period because we don't think Jeremiah Love is draftable at 9. Not that he's not draftable, but he's not going to fall to us at 9.
He won't be available.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so that's why you've got another edge rusher going to the Saints at 8, and then you've got Kansas City getting Jordan Tyson, a wide receiver out of Arizona State, some more help for Patrick Mahomes.
Okay, so as Field Yates goes on through the first round, you get no quarterback, no second quarterback, no second quarterback. You go past the Jets at 16. You go past the Steelers in the first round. And then Field Yates has proposed trades in this mock. And what he points out to is that he thinks the Cardinals could trade back into the first round with Buffalo at 26. And that's where the second quarterback would go off the board. And now we get to our Ty Simpson conversation for the day, because that's who Field Yates has going at number 26 to the Arizona Cardinals after they trade back into the first round at 26, which would be a trade proposed with Buffalo. So Buffalo would move back, the Cardinals would move up, and the Cardinals would use that selection on Ty Simpson.
I love this move if it wasn't the Cardinals. Love this move.
Oh, I think that actually makes a lot of sense for Arizona.
This is a horrible move for the Cardinals.
Okay, tell me why.
Because the Cardinals are going to suck this year. The Cardinals are marching for Arch. Why are you wasting your first round pick on a quarterback this year? You're in the market for a top tier quarterback next year.
Well, what if you're bad? What if you're really bad and you just get a chance to go for a quarterback next year too?
Why are you wasting a first round pick this year? Build.
I don't believe with the thought process, but what if their thought process is let's take as many cracks at this as we can until we get the guy?
No. You don't do that in the first round this year. You build your line, dude. Trenches. Come on. You know how to build a football team. This is not how you do it. You don't build your football team by drafting Ty Simpson and just like, well, he's not good, we'll just take another quarterback in the first round. No. Get yourself an offensive lineman. Get yourself your left tackle or right tackle for the future. Get yourself a stud defensive lineman for the future. Then next year, that's when you get Arch Manning or Dante Moore or one of those other guys. They're talking about already. I'm already seeing this could be the best quarterback of the last draft of the last 20 years.
Quarterback class.
Yes. So why are you wasting moving up back into the first round and wasting draft capital to get a guy who wouldn't be taken in the first 3 rounds if he were drafted in any other draft than this year. Why are you doing it?
For what
this is
it's
a
worth.
beautiful draft. This would be a beautiful pick if it was the Rams. This would be a great pick if it was another team that was having a quarterback sit for a year and take over for an heir apparent for the Steelers or the Rams or another team. This is a horrible move for the Cardinals.
To be fair, looking at so Field Yates has it's a 2-round mock draft they posted on ESPN.com today, and that's what we're talking about. Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports. If you want to join us, you can call us at 310-840-4910. You can also text the show as well. In the second round, no quarterbacks go off the board. So the only 2 quarterbacks that go off the board, according to Field Yates, are Fernando Mendoza at 1 to the Raiders, and then the Cardinals jumping back into the first round to take Ty Simpson, and no one else goes in the rest of the second round. So it really is a 2-horse race, and it, for the most part, is a 1-horse race. Except there are some trying to make you believe that Ty Simpson is as good as Fernando Mendoza.
As good?
And that's where we get to the conversation that still got some legs today with ESPN's Dan Orlovsky. Take a listen to Dan Orlovsky talking about Ty Simpson yesterday.
I think Ty Simpson is QB1. I think Ty Simpson is the best quarterback in this class. I think when you look at the body of work and what was asked of these 2 quarterbacks, you have to start with the question, who needed to do more to carry their football team to play well? Ty Simpson, and it's not close between those 2 quarterbacks. Who took more games over throughout the course of the season? Ty Simpson. It's not even close. And if we're asking like what you are as a player in college and what you're going to be asked to do in the NFL and what translates, I start with what do you do in moments of panic with the football? Because that's really what separates good to great. I would tell you that Ty Simpson is more consistent in that regard. What guy was asked to do more NFL throws? When I say NFL throws, I'm talking 15, 20, 25-yard in routes, crossing routes, deep corner or sail routes. Yeah. Ty Simpson, and it's not even close in that regard. And I like Fernando Mendoza. This is not to slight Mendoza. Yeah. I would rather have Ty Simpson at the 15 to 20 range than Fernando Mendoza at 1.
So that was Dan Orlovsky on ESPN television yesterday talking about Ty Simpson, who last year at Alabama, Simpson, who is 6'1", 211, threw for 28 touchdowns and 5 interceptions with a quarterback rating of 145.2. Fernando Mendoza, who is 6'5", 236, threw for 41 touchdowns, had 6 interceptions, and had a quarterback rating of 182.9. Dan Orlovsky says it's not even close. Ty Simpson is the better player. Abdalla, can you explain to me what Dan Orlovsky's doing here?
I don't know. I don't know. Because then also Mike Tenenbaum, former GM, said in talking to clubs, this opinion is shared by other teams as well. I don't know. I don't know because I watched every Ty Simpson snap in college. I'm an Alabama fan.
You're a fan of the Crimson Tide.
I'm an Alabama fan.
Yeah, this is your guy.
Yeah, he is my guy. I just told you I wouldn't draft him. I wouldn't draft him in the first round unless I was having him sit for a year behind Matthew Stafford and I had Sean McVay teaching him everything that he knew. Unless I was having him sit behind Aaron Rodgers and having Mike McCarthy, who developed Aaron Rodgers and Dak Prescott, teaching him everything that he knew. This is not a day one guy. This is not a guy that comes in and starts for the Cardinals day one and is going to be good. There was a time during the college football regular season where Ty Simpson was playing the best out of any quarterback. There was a time. And then the bottom fell out. His protection started to break down. He was making horrible decisions. And that's when Fernando Mendoza took off. And rightfully so. And he solidified himself as the number one candidate. And Carson Beck fell off. And Ty Simpson fell off. And all these guys solidified themselves. And look, we've talked about it at length. It's regardless of Fernando Mendoza being the number one quarterback, it's still a weak quarterback class. Fernando Mendoza wouldn't be taken ahead of Cam Ward if Cam Ward was in this draft. he wouldn't be taken ahead of Drake May or Caleb Williams or maybe even J.J. McCarthy or Michael Penix if he was in those drafts. So where right now Ty Simpson is in this draft, I don't see it. I watched every single snap of this guy play. He makes erratic decisions. When his protection breaks down, he runs and makes even worse decisions. To me, it's just a guy that I would make sit and watch, and he would have to go to a good team. Like, I would not send him to a team where a coach just took over. I would send him to a team where there's a McVay, where there's, and I know people shudder at McCarthy, but he did develop Aaron Rodgers and he did develop Dak Prescott. I would want him to go, I'll tell you this, if the Vikings drafted him late, Kevin O'Connell would be great for Ty Simpson. Kyle Shanahan would be great for Ty Simpson, but he's not. If the Cardinals draft him, he's toast.
I also think some of the context to what's going on here, and I know that there's a lot of people online who have pointed this out, and who knows if it's the case, but what you have happen at this time of year, we're under a month till the Super Bowl. There's a couple layers to this, right? One, what is the one thing you and I keep talking about every single time we bring up the draft? We know 100% we feel like there is a player who's going to go number one, and there's no question to that. Mm-hmm. So whoever it is that thinks about these things, would that lead people to believe that there's a lot of intrigue with the number one pick if we all know that Fernando Mendoza is going 1 to the Raiders? No, the answer is no. There's no intrigue, right? But if somebody is pushing something, suggesting otherwise, now you got intrigue. Now people want to pay attention. Wait, Ty Simpson actually can play? Wait, Ty Simpson, okay, all right. Maybe there's, this happens before we get to the draft. When there's not something that's very obvious in front of all of us that someone's going to be the number one pick. There's a lot of people online also pointing out that Dan Orlovsky is represented by the same agency as Ty Simpson. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of people on TV who are represented by CAA. So I don't think it's necessarily
a big agency. I
don't necessarily think Orlovsky's carrying water for the agency to try and get Ty Simpson drafted in the first round. But it's out there. That's out there online. Mm-hmm. I think there's a lot of it. It's ESPN also carries the NFL draft on television. And if people are dogging the first round, saying it's not as good as we've seen in years past, that affects TV ratings. I disagree with that because I think there's going to be intriguing storylines no matter what. I think seeing defensive players get selected is just as cool as quarterbacks and offensive players. And also, we know it's the NFL and people are going to tune in for the NFL.
Yeah.
The final thought on this piece of Orlovsky audio is, didn't you and I play a piece of audio from like 3 weeks ago where Orlovsky said, my take is Ty Simpson's the better player, but I haven't watched any film on Mendoza.
Well, now he's had 3 weeks.
Is it? But tell me if I'm wrong. Is that not what he said like a month ago?
Yeah.
Is that Ty Simpson's the best player, but I have not watched the film on Mendoza? Well, sir, Mendoza played for the team that won the national title.
And played well.
He won the Heisman.
Played
You're telling me, as a college football analyst, because Orlovsky's on college football broadcasts, is he not?
He is.
He's a college football analyst, and you break down the NFL. You haven't watched any of Mendoza? This is what he said 3 weeks ago.
Yep.
So that was his opinion from the jump, is that Simpson was the better player, even though he didn't watch the other guy. So that's why I asked you, what is he doing here? Is it because he's trying to push Simpson? Is there a connection that people don't know about? Is he trying to get people interested in the NFL draft for ESPN television? What is it?
I think that Orlovsky has always been a quarterback guy. He's always the guy that's going to pump up quarterbacks. And I think that Tenenbaum he may be hearing from teams that do this, but he might be hearing from teams that want to put something in the Raiders' ear that might push a little bit of doubt on Mendoza. that maybe they aren't so sure on Mendoza, but I'll say the Raiders aren't drafting anybody but Mendoza.
Yeah, that's why I think we all have been led to believe. Speaking of the Raiders, what's going on with their ownership situation? What does Tom Brady actually do there? We'll ask that question coming up next. It's Bleck Abdalla. Every March, the tournament delivers the unexpected, but this year, DraftKings Sportsbook is leaning into the chaos with Mystery Reward.
When you're set to place your bet, just select your mystery token in the bet slip and use cash or DK dollars to lock it in. Opt in today at DraftKings Sportsbook.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code B&A. That's B&A for Bleck and Abdalla. And opt in and claim your mystery reward at DraftKings Sportsbook. In partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-MY-RESET. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. Must be 21 plus in most states. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. One reward per customer. Rewards vary and expire at the end of the final college basketball game. Each tourney round when offered. See terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos for more details.
The landscape of the NFL has shifted massively this month. And as we head towards the draft, what will happen next? The NFL never sleeps, and neither do we. On your home for the NFL, Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
I still don't understand how NFL players were allowed to play in this flag football thing over the weekend for Tom Brady. I still don't get it. I know we talked about it yesterday here on the show. If I'm a Bengals fan, if I'm a Commanders fan, an Eagles fan, and my quarterback's out there running, cutting, diving, playing flag football in something that does not matter, I do not understand how that's okay.
Well, I mean, it matters for the paycheck they got.
Yeah, for them personally, but if I'm a fan of those teams, I'm not happy today.
I get it, but it matters for them, for their wallets.
Yes. Tom Brady was there. He participated. He's also a part owner of the Las Vegas Raiders. We've been talking about the Raiders heading towards the NFL draft. It's Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. And there has been question now into what type of influence and what actually does Tom Brady do for the Las Vegas Raiders. Take a listen. Here's Brady talking about his role with the Raiders over the weekend.
You know, I loved being involved in the NFL. Like I said, I love football. I love sports. I was very fortunate in my career to be around amazing people and mentors like Robert Kraft as an owner of a team, and now getting to work with Mark Davis in the role that I'm at, and to see kind of a different team shape the way that things are done and how we're evolving and growing. And, we certainly have a long ways to go. And, it's what I learned about football in 23 seasons is it's a tremendous amount of resilience, adversity, discipline, determination, communication of an entire organization to see really the value in committing to one another. So, it's always, I think, process over outcomes, and I think we're all trying, and all of us in our own role that we have, and the role that we have, and whether it's an ownership role or a personnel department or strength and conditioning and athletic training, and obviously players and positions and offense, defense, everyone's got to come together, and everyone has to work incredibly hard for the people next to them.
No, but Tom, what do you do? like, in this, I like Tom Brady, so this isn't shade at Tom Brady. But he said a lot of buzzwords and a lot of things of saying nothing. Like, of course, people have to work together and overcome and face adversity and all these different elements. Yes, correct.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do, though? Right? Like I feel like there was a lot of fancy jargon that he threw out there that all kind of circled back to there's not actually anything specifically that he does other than just be Tom Brady and be around the franchise.
Which is fine to an extent, but if I'm the Raiders, and again, he's a part owner, so they can't really tell him to do anything, right? He's a part owner. He gets to come and go as he pleases. They don't get to dictate any policy. Like they could Obviously, I'm assuming they have a board or whatever, and they could probably vote to buy his shares back or something or whatever. But if I'm drafting Fernando Mendoza, I would like him to have some form of like, hey, man, you played the position. I know we've got scouts and we've got coaches, but like, do you like him? Do you like Ty Simpson? Could you come and like, I don't know, talk to him? Could you give him your phone number? I know you were at the national championship game. You watched him.
Yeah.
You watched him beat Miami. Could you maybe like have some input? I'm not asking you to come and be a coach every week and that kind of stuff and attend practice and do all that. I know you got a job for Fox, which is weird anyway, because you're a part owner of a team.
Well, he's
and you're
great
also
on TV. That's not
broadcasting
weird.
games. No, it shouldn't be. He's also working for a team.
Oh, you don't like that the conflict of interest there.
Well, did you see that they're looking into Aikman for doing that?
They're looking into
The
him.
NFL's looking into Aikman's relationship with the Dolphins because of his broadcasting.
Okay. All right. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And guess what?
But the
And
way
guess-
you
and guess what?
said that
Guess what
made it
happened?
sound like it was an inappropriate relationship.
Guess what happened with the Falcons and Matt Ryan?
Yeah, Matt Ryan's not going to do it.
Yeah, I am the voice of change, Chris.
Yeah. Okay.
I am the voice of change.
Pro Football Talk has a story up there today. Here's the headline from Mike Florio. Are the Raiders and Tom Brady on the same page about his role? And what Florio points to is what Brady said over the weekend, but also what Mark Davis has said to the media in what Tom Brady's role would be with the Las Vegas Raiders. And one of the questions that Florio points out is, which is it? A close collaborator, or is he a sounding board? What is the rule and the role for Brady moving forward? Because as he was asked about that over the weekend, he filibustered his way through the answer, which we just played, which I point out is a lot of nothing. He kind of said a lot of things, but didn't really actually say anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess a larger point is with all the changes with the Vegas Raiders head coach and a number one pick and a trade that fell through for Max Crosby, does it really matter? And can Brady just be like a figurehead for the organization? He's kind of just around. He's not really doing anything.
No,
That's what it sounds like. He's not really doing anything.
The answer is no. You can't be. You can't be when you're arguably the best quarterback of all time, when you have the amount of hardware that he does, and your team is drafting a new quarterback. Like if you were just a guy and this was pick another franchise and you already had an established quarterback and you were just coming in as like a minority owner and the team was already established and you just wanted to be part owner of a team because it was a good business venture, that's fine. This is different. You're Tom Brady and your team is the Raiders and they're drafting their future of the franchise. You need to be a little bit involved. Just a little bit. Just a smidge.
Yeah,
just a smidge.
Unless it was misinterpreted from the start on what he would actually do with the organization. That's also possible.
Well, then he's giving off the wrong vibes then. Don't show up to the national championship game.
Why? He can
And
go
be
to
on
the game.
and be on the sideline watching Fernando Mendoza.
But was
the
he
guy-
wearing Raiders gear?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was.
No, he wasn't. Wasn't he? He was wearing a Raiders pullover?
Brady.
Oh, I missed that then. Yeah, if he's there acting like a GM, like the front office guy for the organization, then yeah, you're right. You have a point to that. I thought he was just there. Wasn't he there with his new rumored girlfriend? They're hanging out on the sidelines there.
Can't tell.
What's her name?
He's wearing a black jacket and a gray hoodie. I can't tell what the gray hoodie says.
Yeah, I don't. That doesn't look like he's just in Raiders gear. That's not the case. He was just there at the game.
No, he's wearing a Raiders hoodie. That's definitely a Raiders hoodie.
All right. Okay. I mean, yeah. So he's trying to play it off like he is running the organization. That's for sure. But then when he was asked about it this weekend, he gave a non-answer answer. He spoke words, but he didn't answer anything.
Just saying.
Sounds like our show.
Well,
It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. We do have some news in the NBA. The NBA Players Association has released a couple of statements on two different players in two different situations. One, Cade Cunningham, they released a statement saying that the rules that limit a player to participate for the postseason awards based on playing 65 games is something that needs to change. I would say the one thing to kind of point out is that with that, the collective bargaining agreement, the Players Association was a part of it. So you had a chance in 2023 to not have that be a part of the rule going forward, and you were okay with the collective bargaining agreement at the time. So that's one. So Cade Cunningham's situation, because he's likely to miss the rest of the season, and he will miss out then on being an All-Pro, the All-Pro team, right? All-NBA, and then also miss out on the MVP award and all the various different awards because he won't hit the 65-game threshold.
There's got to be exceptions to the rule.
No, there's not.
I understand. I understand there's not. I understand there's not. But there should be.
Why the Players Association's pointing that out. And then they also release a statement on the player participation policy, which is in regards to Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Milwaukee Bucks, and that the league needs to hold teams accountable for not playing healthy and ready-to-play players, namely Giannis, when he wants to be on the court, and that the league needs to do something for the, quote, fans, broadcast partners, and the integrity of the game itself to continue to suffer along as ownership goes unchecked.
Woof! Spicy.
They also go on to say, we look forward to collaborating with the NBA on a meaningful new proposal that will directly address and discourage tanking, end quote.
Spicy.
So the PA going after not only the rule that is likely to keep Cade Cunningham from becoming an all-NBA player this season, even though he's one of the best in the league, and then also going after the Milwaukee Bucks for the sitting down of Giannis when he wants to play.
Okay, so awesome for the Giannis stuff. That's great. That's awesome. I love it. The Cade Cunningham stuff, I think he's got a legit gripe. Like, there should be exceptions to the rule. Like, if you're just sitting in the second night of a back-to-back because you want management, like, there should be, like, you know how when you're sick from school and there's an excused absence and an unexcused absence? The dude has a collapsed lung. Like, he's playing night in and night out. Cade Cunningham isn't a load management guy. Like, this isn't a guy that is not playing on the second night of back-to-backs. He's not a guy that misses time because he's old in the league and this team is just he's pushing a team to the playoffs and they're just carrying his dead weight. He's a guy that is a respectable player that doesn't believe in that BS. There needs to be an exception to the rule. There just has to be. And if you can get the, I don't know, like a doctor's exemption or whatever. Like a collapsed lung is different than just being like his knee hurts.
Okay,
you know what I mean? Like there's a difference.
You and I see that. Most people that watch the game see that. Unfortunately, it's the same. It's ruled the same.
I know.
Here's the solution: do away with the rule.
That's fine. That's fine.
Have the voters vote for the players that are worthy to win these awards. And if you have to factor in that a guy only played 50 games compared to a guy who played 80 games,
you can do that.
Use your brain.
Use your brain.
Idiots.
Use your
They're all
brain.
idiots.
Use your brain. But you can.
It's so frustrating. It's such a stupid rule. It's so stupid.
You should be able to tell the difference by a guy that's being like, "Ow, my knee, I can't play," and
should.
my lung collapsed.
Well, you should, but unfortunately, we can't, and that's why we have this stupid rule in the NBA. It's unreal.
It is.
How dumb is it?
I mean,
like, it's very obvious that Cade Cunningham should make an all-NBA team. He should be on the first all-NBA team.
Absolutely.
But he's not going to qualify for the awards unless he gets to the 65-game threshold.
That's ridiculous. They should just have him start and then just pull him. Why not?
Well, you've seen that like the end of a season where players go in there because they have to start X number of games, and then the moment the game starts, they pull them off the court.
Do it. Why not?
For a bonus.
If you want to make these BS rules, then find a way around it.
It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app, sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Save on commercial auto insurance from Progressive. Get a fast quote at progressivecommercial.com. Can Wemby win the MVP? We'll talk about that coming up next.
March Madness continues.
The shot was blocked.
Sweet 16 matchups start Thursday. Grab the Westwood One Sports app and ride with us.
Slide it up and in.
All the way to the national championship game.
This for real. We for real.
From your home for the NCAA tournament. Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
Download the podcast of Bleck and Abdalla on Apple, Spotify, and Odyssey. Also, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, new YouTube channel, Bleck and Abdalla Show. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. You can watch the show each and every day right there on YouTube. Jim Rome coming up in 15 minutes right here on Westwood One Sports. Thank you to Stu and Laura for producing today's show of Bleck and Abdalla. We'll return tomorrow from noon to 3 Eastern right here on Westwood One Sports. It's now time for the Defensive Player of the Week, brought to you by Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the Mission. And Abdalla, today's selection should be Victor Wembanyama, as he is having a great season for the Spurs. And last night had an outstanding game against the Heat. 26 points, 15 rebounds, and 5 blocks for Wemby.
Yeah, I agree with you. And he's averaging 3 blocks this season so far. And I think that he said it best yesterday. He's the best defensive player in the league, one of the best. And it's 50% of the game, and he should be under consideration for MVP because of it.
Yeah, and Wemby is our Defensive Player of the Week, brought to you by Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the Mission. You're right. Like, because it's 50% of the conversation, the MVP race right now, when we have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Luka Doncic at this point, the three of them are running away as the three who make up the conversation for MVP in the NBA, which I think, which is nice. Usually we get one guy where you absolutely know he's the favorite, he's going to win it. And it kind of feels like that a little with Gilgeous-Alexander.
I mean, we know.
Well, he's on the best team. He's won an MVP already. He won a championship last year. It makes a lot of sense that SGA will win it again. But what we've seen from both Luka and Wemby throughout the entire season and Luka in the last month, it's made the race fun to kind of watch and talk about.
I don't think Luka could do anything, or Victor Wembanyama could do anything to unseat SGA as the MVP right now. Like, SGA would have to get hurt.
Yeah.
And not play in the minimum amount of games for him to, unless he's already played in the minimum amount of games.
He's got to be close, right?
For him to lose this award. He is minus 1,000 on DraftKings to win this award. Luka is 10-1, and Victor Wembanyama is 18-1, and Jokic is 45-1. So he's got no chance right now. So
yeah, I mean, SGA right now, he's at 60.
So you'd have to play in 5 more games.
60 games played. He's averaging 31.5 points per.
There's like 10 or 11 games left for all these teams to play. So he has to play in half the games.
Yeah, but like, isn't that a part of the conversation which is so annoying about the threshold, and why we just mentioned that the Players Association is commenting about Cade Cunningham's situation? It's like, to have these conversations with your buddies, if you're texting or if you're at the bar or if you're just having a conversation, and it have to be hold on, let me go look up. Let me see. He's at 60 games. I think he'll make the threshold. So then we can talk about SGA winning the MVP. Like, how stupid. What a stupid rule.
Yeah, it is.
I do want to point out one quick thing with the NBA in the salary cap. Did you see that they released that the salary cap will go down by $1 million next year? Did you see this? That the NBA announced to the teams that the salary cap is projected to be $1 million less than what it was this year. And what they're pointing to, and I saw this tweet from Front Office Sports, pointing to the struggles of local TV are now hitting the NBA players based on the fact that because the salary cap will be lower, that means the overall pool of money that the players get to divide up in all their different contracts now will be less because the TV money isn't quite there. Here's the concept for NBA players, because I think this is something that will make sense to them. You were talking about load management and players playing and wanting to play. If you play in the games, people will watch the games.
Yep.
So the players shouldn't be frustrated that this is going to take place, that the salary cap's going to go down in a healthy league, in air quotes, healthy league. The NBA is a healthy league, and the salary cap's going to decrease by $1 million next year. It's only the players to blame for this because people are watching football, right? Like the TV numbers in football have never been better.
Yep.
People are watching college basketball. We had the numbers on Thursday.
Yep.
People are watching on Thursday more than ever for the NCAA tournament. If the players play, people will watch. But people think the players don't care and they don't play, so they don't watch.
Well, with, Adam Silver thinking that the number one problem in the NBA is tanking, the tanking teams aren't on national TV. The worst teams in the NBA aren't on national TV. It's the best teams that are on national TV. And if I tune in and I flip on a Lakers game and I see that LeBron's not in the lineup tonight, click, sorry, I'll find something else to watch tonight. If I turn on, another game and I find out that star's not playing, click, not going to watch that game.
Right.
And that's why they instituted this 65 game rule to try to curb that. And now, guess what? Less money for you guys.
Someone should tell the players that they should start playing in the games. And it's not only it's also the local revenue, right? Like the local revenue plays into the individual teams as well. Mm-hmm. And that entire pool of the TV money and what's, the tidal wave of streaming services and new era of watching sports on TV, someone should probably let the players know that they should probably start playing in these games or else the future salary caps are going in the NBA. I thought that was interesting. Earlier on the show, we mentioned a article that I saw in the Washington Post talking about 8 Gen Z habits that they tried to explain. And so it went through all these different things that Gen Zers are known to do. And I've been asking Abdalla to explain some of these. And the one that caught my eye is this aversion from Gen Zers to open a bar tab.
Yes.
I don't get this. If you're only buying one drink, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Close your tab.
Yeah.
That's no problem.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're going to be at the bar for an hour, couple hours, for an entire day, why are you closing your bill every single time you buy one drink? That's insane.
They just don't want to. They don't want to go up and say, keep it open. Maybe they don't trust their friends. Maybe it's a trust issue. Maybe they don't trust their friends be like,
what would a friend do that you wouldn't trust them in this situation?
Put it on Chris's tab.
Oh, well, have you done that before?
Put it on Chris's tab.
Yeah, well, what's the problem with that?
Put it on Chris's tab.
Next time it's on yours.
Because they don't want to have to go and say, hey, you owe me this, Venmo me that,
Why?
Cash
they have
App
to
me
communicate
this.
with someone else?
Yes, because then you have to talk more. That goes back to number 2. You have to talk more.
Number 2 on the list was their aversion to greetings.
Yeah.
Like why don't younger people greet people
then
when you walk in somewhere?
I gotta chase down my friends for money. I don't want to have to chase you down for money. All 10 of us are going to go up to the bar and order one drink and close down and really piss off the bartender.
Right, like that's a lot of work for them, and especially in a crowded bar.
Oh yeah.
Just if to make it easier, just put on your tab and then pay your friend back.
Nope. There's way too many apps involved with that because God forbid they do math.
Wow, you're really going after the young people.
Well, listen, I used to be one.
I used to be one. I've seen some things. It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. We'll talk to you tomorrow at noon Eastern. Jim Rome is coming up next right here on Westwood One Sports.
This is Westwood One Sports.